Hello, and welcome back to the Conquer Your Sexy podcast. My name is Cristina Maria Flores. I am a self-expression coach, and I work with women who are in transition, who want to rebuild agency and confidence in their lives. And I'm also a multidimensional artist who is building a life on my own terms. I have not been on this mic in quite a while, but I am back. And I'm really excited to share with you all about how I just sold all of my belongings and left my home of 9 years in Los Angeles to come and live in Colombia. But this episode is not going to be about travel. This episode is about learning to listen to that whisper when you've outgrown your life. Because something that I have learned is that sometimes you can outgrow your life, but you don't outgrow hope for a certain thing. And it's hard to distinguish the difference. This move did not come out of nowhere. I have been writing in my journals for years, live in another country for at least 2 months. And I got a little taste of solo travel a few years ago. I went to Costa Rica by myself, and I was in a moment of heartbreak. Not just romantically, but in a bunch of different ways, realizing certain things in my life were not stable. And I learned that when you leave your comfort zone, when you leave your normal routines, all your distractions, and you're by yourself in a foreign place with nobody to rely on but yourself, you really meet yourself. It looks like typing through the tears. It looks like really feeling your emotions. And I knew that I was in a moment of my life where I needed that again. Last year was one of my most powerful years on paper. And not to say that I didn't have many moments of joy and that I wasn't healthy. I just don't think it was that's not what the most happy version of Cristina looks like. But on paper, again, like I hosted my first retreat. I did my first version of my one-woman show that I've been talking about for years. I released my first single. I premiered a pilot that I got to travel and premiere in festivals. And yet I was still experiencing a lot of anxiety in between. I was still feeling a little insecure. I was feeling like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And not feeling that sense of contentment. And that worried me. I've always wanted to be in a place where I could really lock in my Spanish. Knowing my native tongue is very important to me. And everyone that I started to speak to, as I was telling people, I think I want to live out of the country in the start of the new year, it all led to Colombia. It called me and it pulled me. I actually had wanted to go somewhere that I'd never been before. But again, my body felt called to come here. So I packed up all my things. I did not initially think that I was going to completely leave LA. I was really tied to keeping my identity in LA by subleasing my apartment. I had reignited a relationship that I had been in. I was interviewing people, and something inside me at one point was like, you know what, Cristina, you got to let this all go. You're going to get more out of this if you just really let go and cut all ties. So that's what I did. And, surprisingly enough, selling my things wasn't as hard as letting go of a person. And I paid attention to that, and I was holding on really until my last flight from Miami to Cali. And I got the clarity that I needed. And I said, Cristina, we're going to let our heart fly. And upon arriving to Colombia, I actually found that my situation wasn't exactly as I had imagined. I wasn't able to get a key at that place. I wasn't able to come back past 9 p.m. And I happened to arrive in one of the hottest times for Cali, Colombia, which is La Feria. There are a bunch of salsa performances. There's opportunities to go to concerts, all of these parties that are going on. So it was really important to me to be able to experience that. So I actually ended up hopping from one primo's house to another primo's house. I have cousin after cousin after cousin in Colombia. So it was really beautiful to be able to get to know my family a little bit better. I've been to Colombia many times as a younger girl, but to come here as a grown woman, it really hits different. I got to see some of the OGs, Grupo Nietzsche, Orquesta Guayacán, Jimmy Sa, And I got to just experience being out in the more party scene of Colombia, which I hadn't done before. I also got to build a family tree, which was so beautiful. My dad's immediate family are all deceased at this point, and I did have the opportunity to know all of them. But some of the primos and primas that were around when my father was young, they got to really fill in the blanks for me, and I made it a point to fill in every single name of every mother, daughter, brother, father for 3 generations on my father's side, and got to learn about my father's early life and my abuelo. And I got to really see through those stories patterns that have been passed down from my father to me and to my mom, and certain things that I'd heard before, which is really interesting. And it gave me compassion for a lot of the family members that I haven't been able to know directly myself. I already had bought a ticket for Bad Bunny here in Medellin, so I decided to come a week early and just check out the city, and I fell in love right away. There's like 4 million people here. It's twice the size of Cali, Colombia, and it's very luscious, very green. You may know Medellin. Maluma comes from here, Karol G, J Balvin. So there's a lot of artists that come out of the city. It's a little bit more organized, a little more clean visually, is a little more progressive. And again, because I have family in Cali, Colombia, there was still this safety net that I was actually really looking to wash away for myself and have the independence that I'm used to. Even though Colombia is a little bit more of a dangerous country, I really felt like it was part of my journey to be able to explore on my own. So after coming here, there's 4 main lessons that I wanted to share and extract for you all. Number 1, definitely learned that my comfortability comes from an emotional sense of stability versus accommodations. There was many places that I stayed in Cali, Colombia that did not have hot water, that did not have AC, and those are things that I'm used to. And at first, I definitely had my nose turned a little bit in the sense of like, I can't stay here for that long. Like, I can't live like this for too long. And I actually got used to it, and really the sense of family and the people who really welcomed me with warmth, that was where I wanted to stay. And that's where I found a lot of comfort versus having the granite countertops and the AC and the hot water and whatever the case may be. Second is that I can definitely survive instability. Since I have left LA, I have stayed in 14 different places between family members, Airbnbs, co-living spaces, apartments that didn't work out. And I've been living in suitcases actually until like 4 days ago. I unpacked my suitcases for the first time, and although that can feel very unsettling to the nervous system, I found that building rituals as opposed to very strict morning routines or habits was very grounding for me, and that, you know, I am able to create a sense of home within myself, even if there is nothing familiar around me. I also have lost my passport, my wallet, and my phone and other things, and I somehow got them all back. I'm at the king of the ghetto in the process to get one of my phone back. That's another story for another time. But when you have what is most important to you lost, you're like, who am I? Who am I, and what am I without those things? So it was very defining moments for myself to learn how to be calm even in a space of emergency. Third lesson is sexy is simple. Sexy is simple. I've been dating. I got to have, little one night stands here, a date here with an Uber driver, or a traveler who was here for, a moment in time. No sex involved, by the way, but still very sexy moments. And what I've realized is my values really don't lie in money. I really enjoy rich conversations, intimacy beyond the physical, and connection that is long lasting. There's 8 billion people on the planet, I think, and I connect with a lot of people. I get along with a lot of people. But the kind of connections that you'll think about 15, 20 years from now, or that, feel like you can just close your eyes and transport yourself back to every smell, sound, exchange of glance, those are still rare. And they should not be taken for granted. And so I'm really finding a lot of sexiness in simplicity. And I think finally what I have gathered from this trip too is who I am without the applause. I think LA is a city where achievements are very much a top priority and something that people value for growth and to show your growth. You're constantly on camera or looking to be on camera or looking to be seen when you're networking. And I really have gotten to see in myself, life slow down a little bit, which is what I wanted. I've cut out the noise of my normal social life. And I've had a lot of days where I'm just alone in my room and still showing up for my craft, still showing up for my business, still showing up for my body, still showing up for even friends from afar, but really getting to see who I am when nobody is watching and when there's nobody to impress and when there's nobody clapping. The Super Bowl was also a big moment, a telling moment for me to see how I felt about that, since I was pursuing professional dance in the past, and being able to really pat myself on the back for building a life where I show up regardless of whether there's dopamine or somebody telling me how great I am. And that's been really cool to witness. So the journey is really just starting. I don't have answers as to how long I want to stay here yet. I've been really all over the place. This is my first moment in a while that I've gotten to have one stable spot that I know I'm going to be in for a month. So I'm really excited to share more. What I want to ask you is what you're outgrowing. What is whispering at you that you have or haven't been listening to? Because sometimes growth is not dramatic. Sometimes it's not this huge applause. Sometimes it's not another achievement, but it's just this whisper that won't go away. And sometimes the life that we wanted is not the life that we currently need. And it can be very painful to let that go. So that's my question for you. If you're listening to the podcast, the best thing that you could do to help me to reach more people is to rate and review and let me know what you think, honestly. And if you're watching, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what it is that you're growing right now. And I'm looking forward to sharing more episodes. I want to do some very travel-based things too, where I get to tell you what to expect if you were to come to Colombia, South America, Medellin, if you're traveling solo. I will be doing a little bit more juicy episodes on my dating life and what I'm learning there, and also how I am learning to grow my business and how to be successful as a digital nomad when digital nomad, and more. We'll see what's to come next. This episode is totally unpolished, and I hope to up the ante in that category later on. But for now, done is better than perfect, and I'm here to just share as a raw Cristina Flores. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.